Bienvenidos a esta semana al podcast de la Cámara de Comercio Hispana de la Bahía de Tampa, Empresario, Emprededor. Tenemos el auspicio de GTE Financial y iHeartRadio, Rumba 106.5 como auspiciadores. Gracias a su patrocinio estamos aquí, y también de nuestro productor The Room Marketing, Acumen Strategist. Esta servidora y la Cámara de Comercio Hispana de la Bahía de Tampa les traen hoy los Tampa Bay Rays, pero hoy va a ser en inglés. So we are welcoming the Tampa Bay Rays. We have a podcast that is in English, and we have here today Stefan Thomas, and he is the Senior Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Welcome, Stefan. Thank you for joining us today. This is very important because the Rays are our fave, and you know we're not Tampa, we're Tampa Bay, so we're happy to have you here. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, Diane, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate just the opportunity to talk to you and talk to your listeners about really all about me, and also just more about what we're doing for our Roberto Clemente Day celebration. So just a little background about myself. I've actually been very fortunate. I grew up in California, and this is actually my 16th year with the Tampa Bay Rays organization.
Wow.
So I feel like I've grown up as a member of the Rays. I moved over here when I was 21 years old and have been 16 years with the organization. Most recently, I was executive director of the Rays Baseball Foundation. Have always had a passion of really supporting Black and Brown communities, and have moved into this role since last August, supporting DEI work for the Rays and Rowdies organization. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, for the Hispanic community, baseball is more than a sport. It's our life. And there's so many professional baseball players. There are Hispanic in that industry. And for us, it's part of our culture. You go to any place not only in the Caribbean, but in South America, and that's a major sport among others, of course. But baseball has a tradition that it comes to the US and you see a lot of Hispanic baseball players, which brings me joy, because we know that we have amazing talent and professional men out there into sports, and being with the Rays, that it's part of our culture, of our teams. It makes me especially very proud. So this is a very interesting podcast because of the influences that the Rays have within the Hispanic community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I go back to the fact that we have 15 different players from 6 different Spanish-speaking countries on our roster right now. So players from Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, Dominican, Panama, and Cuban. So to me, like that representation is so important. And for me, like as a kid growing up in California, I always just visioned that the only career in baseball was being a player. And I think it's also important for people to realize that there are so many other professions outside of being a player on the field or being a broadcaster. We have accounting and stadium operations and IT and marketing and ticket sales and corporate partnerships. And there's so many careers that our Hispanic and Latina staff members really truly make up our organization. So just to have that aspect and realize that even if you aren't necessarily talented enough to be a player out on the field, that baseball still welcomes you, that the Rays organization still welcomes you, that there are career opportunities to still support and be a part of this game that we all love. So I think some of these connection points is really something that I'm impressed and important about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm also impressed that the way that the organization, the Rays, as a corporation, as a company, has also invested in our community. I'm very much impressed by them and by their initiatives. in taking care of its people. So with that said, I know we have an important event, an important month, by the way, coming to Florida. Overall, the Tampa Bay, we do things big as champions that we are. We celebrate the Hispanic Heritage Month in many ways. And one of the ways that we're doing something together is September 16, 2022. We're having our Hispanic Heritage Night with the Rays. Tell me about the game. Tell me what to expect. And tickets are being sold right now through the Hispanic Chamber as well. You can buy them directly through the park's office box. However, through the chamber, you can access the link and also acquire the tickets. So tell me about that night.
Yeah, we're really excited to host our Roberto Clemente Day celebration and our Hispanic Heritage Night on Friday, September 16th. This is a 7-10 game against the Texas Rangers. And when we think about our Hispanic Heritage celebration, we always go back to Roberto and really what his legacy was as a proud Puerto Rican. For him, who was a 15-time All-Star with the Pittsburgh Pirates and who tragically died delivering humanitarian aid to Nicaragua. It's important that we live and really support his legacy and his legacy of giving back to the community. So we have always, as part of our Roberto Clemente Day celebration, have partnered with Feeding Tampa Bay. We host a food drive that people who can donate food items will receive actually 2 tickets to a 2023 Rays regular season game for free.
Wow.
And really, we just want to make sure that this is a day that we celebrate Roberto's legacy, but also proudly celebrate Hispanic culture. So you'll know some of the activations that we have around the ballpark, some of the fun, the language, the music, the culture, and really that when you enter the building that day, that you do know it's Hispanic Heritage Celebration Night, that it is Roberto Clemente Day, and that this is a place to have fun, to celebrate, and bring that connection point around the game that we all love.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's interesting? That even though we're celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody comes together. You don't have to be Hispanic to be in this game, in this special event, or just celebrate culture, because actually what we're celebrating is culture. And we know that everybody here in the community of Tampa, we celebrate everything. We celebrate everything. It's just that particular month from September 15 until October 15, we just celebrate the Hispanic heritage. And what better way than doing it with the Rays that has contributed so much to our community and to the Hispanic community overall. So I know for a fact, I've been there with the Hispanic nights at the Rays in St. Pete, by the way, Tropicana Field. And they're super fun. When you mention about music, yes, there's music, there's the amazing food as always, but there's always that particular food that you will find that typical Hispanic type of flavors that we all like, including beverage that we all enjoy as Hispanic. So I see the Tropicana Field transform during that day and that festivities. Give me an example of anything curious that perhaps happened before during this type of celebration, or something similar that it comes to your mind.
Yeah, I think actually our partnership with our radio station Roomba is a good example. We'll have multiple DJs and entertainers throughout the ballpark performing. They are going to be providing our performer as the national anthem and the 7th inning stretch for that day. And really, this is a celebration of culture. And also that this is a celebration of different cultures intersecting and interacting with each other. I think that the one thing that I've always appreciated about Hispanic Heritage Celebration, and you brought up this point earlier, is that this is welcoming. This is an environment that is really encouraged to participate and actually have some of these cross-cultural interactions, which are so important. And for us to be a venue to host some of these meaningful connection points is really, really, really exciting for us. And we just try to do it in a respectful and a fun way.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. As I mentioned, I've been there before. I know the experience. It is super fun. But it's the way that things are done. And of course, the way that people come together. So I do know for a fact that not only the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Tampa Bay will be there, I know there's other organizations that will be there. I believe there's going to be also Hispanic Professional Women Association. There's other organizations that I do know.
The Hispanic Heritage Group will be there.
Yes, the Hispanic Heritage Group, that is true.
Prospera is one of our partners that we work with.
Prospera, yes.
Absolutely. We'll have multiple organizations, for sure.
So it is important for people to understand that what you're listening today is that not only the Hispanic Chambers and multiple Hispanic organizations are coming together to make this evening super fun, super festivities and festive. It's the correct word. But most important, enjoying the game and enjoy what we love, which is baseball, and enjoy something that is really part of our culture. So what other events? So we have September is the Hispanic Heritage Month. What happens from after this month of September, celebrating culture, the Hispanic culture? What other events are you planning or you have until December, until the end of the year?
Yeah, and I will say like the main thing also that a part of this celebration on the 16th is that you'll get a great opportunity to preview some potential postseason baseball. As we speak today, the Rays are the top wildcard team. This is the last homestand of the season. Wow. A lot of our players are coming back from injury, so Gerardo Ramirez and Manuel Margot and Wander Franco will just be kind of coming back, and this will be some really high intensity baseball that we'll be getting to enjoy, and hopefully also some more postseason baseball in October. And as we get into kind of the October and really the celebration of the rest of Hispanic Heritage Month, is that we do have the Rays also own the Tampa Bay Rowdies, our professional soccer team in the area, and we will be celebrating our Hispanic Heritage Night with the Rowdies on October 8th as well. So additional opportunities to create a connection point, and again, just of how popular the game of soccer is in the Latin community as well. So we look forward to the celebration and bringing people together and really just having fun along with everything that we do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So there's a question that I know people that are listening will be asking and say, well, ask the question. But I do not expect for you to be able to answer it, but I do have some comments if you can answer it. So we're talking about, are the Tampa Bay Rays coming actually to moving to Tampa? I personally love St. Pete. Of course, I live in Tampa Bay area. And of course, I am the leader of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Tampa Bay. But every time I get to go to St. Pete, I love it. It's elegant. I feel like I'm in vacation. The style, it's like going to another place. And yes, we have heard that the Tampa Bay Rays are coming to Tampa. Now they're saying in St. Pete, and I'm like, why don't we just do both? Can we just have them in both places? I don't mind. What can you comment if you can comment?
Yeah, and I'll mention is like, so, I moved to St. Pete when I was 21, and to see the growth of this entire region from back in 2006 to what it looks like in 2022, it truly is transformational, where the businesses are prospering and growing, and the city is expanding. And for us, we have developed relationships to be in this area. And for me, it doesn't necessarily make a huge difference whether it's on the Pinellas side, on the Hillsborough side. The main thing is that we want to be Tampa-based team. That this is a team for both sides of the bridge and for the surrounding 9 counties to support, to grow, and to love. And really, ultimately, we're getting close to the point where the decision needs to be made. Our lease at Tropicana Field ends in 2027. So we do have about kind of a year, ideally, because it's going to take about 4 or 5 years to build a ballpark where a decision needs to be made on where the next venue is and what the next location is. But the conversations continue to go well on both sides of the bay. And I think that there is genuine interest from, the Hillsborough County county commissioners and the mayor's office and both the Pinellas County commissioners and the St. Pete City Council to try to figure out what is the best solution for the race. And as long as those continues progress, then hopefully there'll be a decision within the next year.
And yes, we have to validate that no matter where they go, they're going to be ours. They are the Tampa Bay race. Either they stay in Pinellas or they come to the Hillsborough County, they're still the Tampa Bay race. And of course, Pinellas, if they're established here in the Tampa Bay area across the bridge, then you'll see people from St. Pete coming here as they always do. As the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Tampa Bay, when we do our events, we do have members from St. Pete. We do have plenty. Most likely you will see people coming from St. Pete to Tampa than rather going the other way. And it's because, of course, it's the Tampa Bay area and you have it all here and it's truly more diverse. And yet you have a growing, bigger Hispanic community in the Tampa Bay area than it is in St. Pete. Although St. Pete has its group in Hillsborough, which is Tampa Bay area, the Hispanic community is like way bigger. And the passion that everybody, the entire community, not only the Hispanics, but the entire community has for baseball, it really sounds really hard and sounds really hard within the Hillsborough County. And of course, the amount of population that we have. I love the race. I don't care if they're in St. Pete or the Tampa Bay area. I'm going to continue following them. I am going to continue being a fan and proud. Doesn't matter where they go. And I know I'm not alone in this thought. We just want the best for the race, the economic development of our communities, St. Pete and Tampa Bay. So I will vote for 2 stadiums. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and to your point, like one thing I always really appreciate about the game of baseball is that it brings people together. It brings families together. It brings communities together. That connection and shared, and even bringing people from different sides of the bridge out to the game and celebrating Hispanic Heritage Night and Roberto Clemente Day together. These are the things that we really value and appreciate. That I think is a unique aspect of pro sports, is that these connections and shared interests. So love everything that you just said, and really kind of appreciate the connections that the game of baseball allows.
Thank you. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye to our audience for now?
No, I just really want to thank all the work that the Hispanic Chamber of Tampa Bay is doing. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. There is more information on our Roberto Clemente Day celebration. If you go to raisebaseball.com/Clemente, there is some additional information on that site. So, but Diane, I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
So you've listened, Stefan Thomas. Again, he's the Senior Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. You want to get in touch with him? Where can they reach you?
They can reach me. Just email me at sthomas@raisebaseball.com.
That's easy. Perfect. So thank you, audience, for today's participation. And now in Spanish, gracias a todos por haber participado en este su podcast, Empresario Emprendedor. Tuvimos la grata visita de los Tampa Bay Rays. Y queremos recordarle que este podcast Empresario Emprendedor de la Cámara de Comercio Hispana de la Bahía de Tampa es traído por GTE Financial y iHeartRadio, Rumba 106.5 y Acción Radio AM. Gracias a todos y gracias a nuestro productor Alex Montalvo, The Room Marketing, por hacer este podcast posible. Hasta la próxima.